For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's.
Talk. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Cardinals end up losing tonight to the Boston Red Sox. They fall by a 7-1 score. Welcome in. This is the Extra Innings Show, the Circus Sports Extra Innings Show here on KMOX, and we're glad to have you with us tonight, even after what was a tough evening for the Cardinals. They do end up losing, and the final score is not indicative of the type of game that it was. This was a 2-1 game going into the ninth inning, and unfortunately for the Cardinals, Matt Swanson, who looked good in his first inning of work, he comes back out there for a second inning, and it did not go well for him there in the top of the ninth inning, and the Cardinals end up losing 7-1. If you want to chime in on the program, feel free to do so. You can call, text, tweet, or leave a message on the video stream. If you want to call or text, the phone number is 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. If you want to tweet at me, it's at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. And for those of you who are watching on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, we welcome your comments into the chat, and we will address some of those as we do go along. I guess the biggest thing going in right now is where the team is at with Matt Swanson. And if you were with us during the network postgame show, you heard Oliver Marmol, some of the things that he said about Swanson specifically. He said that this was his best stuff, but his worst outing. So it wasn't trying to make something better than it actually was. The stuff was good. The results were not good. And not just the results, not just the box score results, but the under the hood results. Swanson was hit really, really hard in this game, really, really hard. So that is something to certainly keep an eye on. But Ali said that he continues to trust Swanson and said that they have to plow through this to get to the other side. So there's a lot of folks out there who have already asked the questions about Swanson. I think it's a legitimate question. Have asked the question, would it make sense to let him get a reset at AAA? And that question was asked very specifically to Oliver Marmol when he was on the Gas House Gang this past week. And Marmol pushed back on that, saying that Swanson's got to, work through this at the major league level. And even though that direct question was not asked of Ali tonight in his post-game media, I think you can take some of what he said and say that it's very much the same situation. So I don't think we're going to see Swanson going down. And I also know how important he is to this bullpen, and they've got to get him right. They've got to get him right. And, at some point you do cross a line, and we've seen them do this before. I mean, you think about Ryan Fernandez and the leash that he was given coming off a breakthrough year into his second year. And eventually it got to a point where they did have to send him down. So I don't think that Matt Swanson has like a birthright to always be in here, but I don't think that they're at a point yet where they would be looking to send him down. Justin sends in a message to us and says, why did they allow Swanson to throw 40 pitches? That's too many. Well, Justin, I hope you were listening to Ali during the post-game press conference, because he very specifically answered that, essentially that question, that with a day game tomorrow and where this thing was at, they were not real willing to bring in essentially another high leverage guy. Now, essentially they did have to bring Schuster in, and Schuster finally made his Cardinals debut for the year. But that is that's where they were at with Swanson, that when the game was still in the balance, it was not a bring in somebody else where all of a sudden you would just not have much of anything available until tomorrow. Sam sends in a message, says, tough loss by the Cardinals, and Swanson should only be put in mop-up duty until he can get major league hitters out. You know what? I understand what you're saying, and I guess I would put it in a little bit of a different way. But Sam, I think you're on somewhat the right track. I do think that you can lower leverage at the big league level to help guys get through something. So if Swanson is doing what he's doing right now, which is not overly effective, he's got an ERA above 15.5. And if the Cardinals very much want him to be able to work through this at the big league level, and there's not anybody at Memphis, and honestly, the only like true relief pitcher at Memphis that you would think might get that opportunity is Ryan Fernandez, who has appeared in 6 games at Memphis this year and has yet to give up an earned run. He's pitching quite well. But if the decision is that Swanson needs to work on this stuff here, I do think lowering the leverage of the situations that he's put in could be that next step before you get to a step of potentially sending him down to Memphis. So Sam, I don't completely disagree with that idea from you that they need to change some things up a little bit in terms of what they are, how they are using them. Let's go ahead and get to our cut of the game. The cut of the game, it is sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. This one's pretty easy today. It's when Jordan Walker comes up to the plate in the 8th inning.
There's a swing and a high fly ball, deep center field for Walker. He hit another one, home run, up on Freese's Landing. A 7-game hitting streak, including 5 homers for Walker. The Cardinals got something there from their right fielder and trail by a run with 2 outs in the 8th.
Yeah, how about that from Jordan Walker? I gave these numbers during the network post game, but I'll read them again. Part of the notes that are always provided to us by Cardinals Public Relations. Jordan Walker hitting his 6th home run of the season in the 8th inning. He ties Baltimore's Gunnar Henderson for the major league lead, extends his hitting streak to 7 games. Homers for a 5th time in his last 7 games, becomes the first Cardinals player with at least 6 home runs through their first 13 games of a season before turning age 24. I always lock in on that one because there were so many people that just wanted to completely move on from Jordan Walker based off the numbers that he had put up. And so many people out there kept reminding individuals just how young Walker is. And every single time we can go through this stat, it's a reminder of how young he is. Again, becomes the first Cardinals player with at least 6 home runs through their first 13 games of a season before turning the age 24. Let's go through some of the text messages that have come in. 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. Got a text message from the 636 saying, was the Cardinals batter intentionally hit by the Red Sox pitcher in the 9th inning? That's a good question. I thought that John and Ricky had a good conversation about that during when it happened, as John seemed pretty adamant that that was something that was probably a thing, and Ricky was maybe not quite as sure on it. I lean yes, and I just think you have to put all the pieces together here, because there were a couple hit by pitches in there by Cardinals pitchers, and you're coming off a series where essentially Wilson Contreras, I don't know if called his teammates out is the right way to say it, but I mean, Wilson made a big deal about defending yourself and defending teammates and all that sort of thing. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and 100% accuse Ryan Watson of intentionally hitting Nathan Church there in the 9th inning, but the proverbial gun to the head, you have to make a call one way or another. I do probably lean in the direction that was intentional. But yeah. Text message from 314, is Mason Wynn on the injured list? He is not on the injured list. He was held out of the game today after being hit yesterday. There was a little bit of inflammation and some pain in there. They hope that he went through the pregame activities today, and they hope that he's going to be back in the lineup today. So we'll see what happens there. Unfortunately for Mason, man, he's just been through a lot. He had the throwing issues there in spring, had the car accident, had the hip thing. Now he's got this thing. There's been a lot. There's been a lot that has happened to Mason Wynn in a relatively short amount of time. But yeah, hopefully he's back in the lineup tomorrow. Well, again, I keep saying wait and see. That seems to be the theme of the program today. Wait and see. But indeed, well, all we can do is wait till we get to the ballpark tomorrow, and we'll see whether or not he is going to be back into the lineup. Who's on a Roll is sponsored by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. Let's go to JJ Weatherholt. We keep using this one. Weatherholt has reached base safely in each of his first 13 games started, the longest by a Cardinals left-handed batting rookie to begin their career since John Rodriguez, who did so in 17 straight starts in 2005. So he's now 4 short of getting to John Rodriguez. JJ Weatherholt continues to find ways to get aboard, and today he goes 1 for 4 in the contest to keep that streak going. 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. That's how you call or text. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air. You can leave a comment on the video stream as well. We'll take a break and have more in a moment. This is the Circus Sports Extra Innings Show right here on KMOX.
The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years, offers a wide selection of engagement and wedding rings, fine jewelry, and watches to suit your style and budget. Visit us at 12 North Central Avenue or schedule a virtual appointment at thediamondshop.net.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Looking to build your dream home? Lombardo Homes is known for quality, luxury, and thoughtful design in some of the area's most desirable communities. And for a limited time this April, we're offering something we rarely do. Exclusive incentives designed to help you get more from your new home. From a free finished recreation room to premium kitchen and cabinet upgrades to flexible perks like design credits or closing cost savings, there's an opportunity waiting for you. But these offers are available in select communities and only for a short time. Visit LombardoHomes.com or stop by a sales office today.
Now, back to Extra Innings, presented by Gray Bar. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. And by Circus Sports. Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. On the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Cardinals lose to the Red Sox tonight. Final score 7-1. Series is even 1-1. Rubber game of the match coming up tomorrow. Welcome back in. This is the Circus Sports Extra Innings Show. Glad to have you with us. If you want to chime in, 314-436-7900. That's how you call or text. Tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air. Leave a comment on the video stream, and we'll get to some of those. Got a text message that came in from Teresa. Said, not a good overall game for the team tonight. Walker came through with another homer again. I'm so happy for him. Keep it up, Jordan. Tomorrow is another day. Reboot. I'm always cheering on. And again, that was Teresa who sent that in. One thing about this team, and it's still really, really early, they seem to be incredibly resilient. When they do have bad things happen, whether bad things happen from an overall game standpoint and returning for the next day, or bad things happen inside of a game, they do tend to have no problem coming back from that. I think it's a really, really good characteristic about this team. Let's get to our insurance run of the game, sponsored by Lang Insurance in St. Charles, Missouri, proudly representing auto owners insurance. We are going to look at things from a Boston standpoint. I've got to say, it's been really good to hear from both Wilson Contreras and Sonny Gray, and they have both had nothing but positive things to say about their experience in St. Louis. Sonny spoke today to the media. Wilson spoke yesterday. Then he did the TV postgame interview with Ken Rosenthal tonight on Fox, and talked about how much he respects this organization, the Cardinals, and loved his time here and has so many good friends that are in the Cardinals clubhouse. Sonny was really, really positive about the organization, basically saying he just happened to come to this team at the wrong time with where they were at in a competitive cycle, but he loves the organization, loves the city. So it's good to hear those things from former Cardinals as they go somewhere else and get an opportunity to potentially compete at a higher level, while the Cardinals are going through their process right now of rebuilding and trying to play themselves back into a contender as well. So all that being said, let's listen into Wilson Contreras, because he was the guy who came up to the plate in the ninth inning and really put the exclamation point on it for Boston.
Walker made it 2-1 in the eighth, and the Red Sox have added 4 here in the ninth. Hot shot to short, going past Urias into left field. Here is Durbin coming on in. The throw is late, and the Red Sox tack on another run. It's a base hit for Contreras, and for the Red Sox, the hits just keep on coming. It's 7-1, and that's it for Swanson.
That insurance run of the game sponsored by Lang Insurance in St. Charles, proudly representing auto owners insurance. It's more fun when we're talking about Cardinals insurance runs for sure, but that's the way things go tonight, as the Cardinals do end up losing this one this evening by a 7-1 score. By the numbers, that is sponsored by Bank of Springfield. Bank boldly, bank with BOS, member FDIC. Let's go through some of the numbers from this game. Always get a lot of interesting notes. Kyle Leahy makes his third start of the season, his first career start against Boston. He had 35 pitches in the fourth inning. That was after throwing 36 pitches in the first 3 innings combined. So that's basically doubled his pitch count from inning number 3 to inning number 4. Also, Ramon Urias has hit safely in 13 of his 14 starts. Thomas Ajacey with a base hit, singles. He's now got a hitting streak sitting at 5 games. Ivan Herrera successfully challenged his major league leading 5th ABS overturn as a batter in the second inning. Also ended his 9-game streak of being able to work a walk. So those are some of the numbers from this game today. Again, by the numbers, sponsored by Bank of Springfield. Bank boldly, bank with BOS, member FDIC. I don't like to beat up on umpires, but like just before we get out of here, just very quickly mentioning Brian Walsh and the day he had behind the plate. The overturns kept happening on ball strike calls. It happened on 4 separate occasions. So essentially he was 0 for 4 in ABS challenges. And then that play where they ruled that Fermin was hit by a pitch, the Red Sox challenged it. They said he was not hit by a pitch. The Cardinals then challenged the challenge, and it was catcher's interference. So in one moment, Walsh missed a catcher's interference, and like that was just, you don't see that happen very often. And I need to get clarification on this, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought the rule was that when a play was challenged, all aspects of the play were challenged. And so where in that situation, if Boston would have challenged the hit by pitch, then when they looked at it on review, they could have said it was actually catcher's interference, and it would not have taken the Cardinals challenging that to get catcher's interference. Obviously, it didn't play out that way, but that should be the rule. If a play gets challenged, all aspects of the play should be challenged, and they should send back what it should be. In no way, shape, or form should that come back that it wasn't a hit by pitch, and then you just ignore the fact that there was a catcher's interference in there. You shouldn't be challenging parts of the play. You should be challenging the play, and then the play can be basically relitigated by the folks in New York at the replay. Like that would make the most sense. And I thought that's how it was supposed to be. It doesn't seem to be that way. I don't totally know. All right, let's go to David, who's giving us a call. Hey, David, you're on the Extra Innings Show.
Good evening, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Well, it's sad that we lost the game, but I'll take the loss because we learned 2 things tonight. Number one, Jordan Walker is starting to pick up his game, and that's going to build his confidence. That's going to lead to a lot more with the rest of the team. And then we also found out that an infielder is a pretty gnarly outfielder, too.
Yeah, David, appreciate the phone call. I know you're making a reference to the Jose Fermin catch, which was wild. Like, that was a great catch by Fermin. out in left field. That was good to see. And I think both Fermin and Sajaci have been fine in the outfield. And Fermin was more than fine tonight. That was a really good play. And just having guys who can play more positions makes the team a little bit more diverse. You know, it was a couple of years ago that the Cardinals were trying to go more in a direction of guys having more set positions. And now they're moving back kind of in that direction of having more guys who can play all over the field. And we saw guys move around, and that helped them, by the way. I know it didn't help them from a run scoring standpoint, but it did help them the way that inning played out, where what resulted in you had the pinch hit, removing Nathan Church, and when Joel Pozo, that was the inning, the seventh inning, when Joel Pozo ended up flying out with 2 on, but just they were able to be aggressive in that inning in the way that they moved some hitters around, and having so many guys who can play all over the field is a good thing for sure. Got a message from our resident curmudgeon. Aaron says, I mean, it's a throwaway season. Leahy going 4 innings, Pajes batting 190, and Swanson giving up 35 runs. Might as well run it into the ground. Aaron, come up with some good stuff every once in a while. They opened up today, tied for the best record in the NL Central. Jordan Walker is tied for a major league lead in home runs. Most of the pitchers have done a very good job on this team from a starting standpoint. You want to see Leahy go deeper into games. I'm not like arguing with your take there, but you lose credibility as a fan when all you do is bitch about things. That's where it is. That's where you're at right now, because we see you on this show. We see you on Redbird Rush Hour. We see you on everything. And you're completely silent. You don't show up after good days. And then after bad days, you come say stupid stuff like that. So you've lost all credibility. You've lost all credibility on this one because you can't have a conversation where you talk about the good stuff and the bad stuff. There's bad stuff. We spent most of this show talking about Matt Swanson and where the Cardinals are at with them and what you need to do moving forward. Like, there's nothing wrong with addressing the bad stuff. But as somebody who hosts the show and wants to have a baseball conversation and is watching a team that's played pretty good baseball this year and watching a city and a community start to come around and start to support this. Tonight, there were over 30,000 people in the house. I did my show over at Cardinals Nation for our pregame. And I walked back into the ballpark after the game, or before, right, at first pitch. And I walked by the ticket windows. There's maybe 8, 9, 10 ticket windows open. I don't know. I didn't count them. There were 4, 5, 6 people in line at every single ticket window, and we were at first pitch. People are enjoying the effort that this team. People are enjoying the effort that this team is putting in. People are taking notice, and it doesn't have to be everything's bad every single day. And Aaron, to your credit, you've sent in a couple more messages responding to me. So I'll just put these up real quick before we call it a day. It says Walker has been great, but when I do say good things, it doesn't get talked about. I don't know what you're saying there. And you say, I want to see Walker do this for the next 3 months. All right. So Aaron, I don't know what you're talking about that you say when you do say good things, it doesn't get talked about. I will make a concerted effort. We should get this sponsored. Aaron being positive. We come back after a nice game, after a game the Cardinals win, a bunch of good stuff is happening, and I challenge you, sir, to put together just a list of all the things you enjoyed about said game. And we could talk about that, because you're tiring me out. You are tiring me out because I don't see the good stuff coming from you. You're just tiring me out on just this constant sky is falling. Everything is terrible. Like every team in baseball has a version of the things that you complained about tonight. Whether it's a starting pitcher who's not going deep into games, whether it's a player on the team who's not performing at a high enough level, a reliever who's struggling. Like that's That's not anything unique to the Cardinals. We could be doing a post-game show for any team in baseball, and those same issues would be in existence. That's not something that's unique to the Cardinals. Let's grab Daniel, who's given us a call. Hey, Daniel, you're on the Extra Innings Show.
Hi, Matt. I attended the game today. Happy to say I finally witnessed my first ABS challenge in person.
Okay. A bunch of them. You saw a bunch of them.
I did. Well, you were talking about Brian Walsh. I can't wait to see the umpire scorecard on Brian Walsh because, I mean, even sitting in section 155, it felt like he was terrible, and both teams were not really thrilled with him.
He had a rough night. Not a great night for him. So we've seen some of these bad nights for umpires. I don't know if I can remember any of these really bad nights where they don't get a single ABS challenge right, and then you have something wacky like the double overturn on the other challenge.
Hey, C.B. Buckner had a terrible 3 games. Remember, he got overturned at first base in Milwaukee, and then before that, he had 4 or 5 terrible calls overturned on ABS challenges when he was behind the plate the series before. It was like opening weekend.
Yeah, it was, Daniel. I appreciate the phone call. So, and then after he had that horrible day at first base in Milwaukee, the next day he's behind the plate, and he takes a foul ball to the mask. He gets taken out of the game, which I won't say that I'm saying this, but I would say that conspiracy theorist would say that maybe CB was looking for a way to get out of there and maybe end up on the umpires injured list for a little while. CB has not umpired a game in Major League Baseball since that day. That, I believe, was on April 1st. So what is today? Today is April 10th. Is that right? I never know what the date is. Today is April 11th. Excuse me. So we're 10 days. It has been 10 days since CB Bucknor has umpired a game in Major League Baseball. I think there's a good chance that he kind of took himself out of that game. And let's just say, I think it's a 50-50 proposition if we see CB Bucknor umpire another game this year. I would not be shocked if that man found a way to spend the rest of the year in umpire concussion protocol, and then you go from there. So just throwing that out there. We have not seen, if you've noticed that there's not been some crazy things happening with umpires quite as much, well, it's because CB Bucknor is not quite as involved. That is just about going to do it for the program today. Appreciate everybody being tuned in, even Aaron, who I yelled at a little bit. Even Aaron, I appreciate everybody being tuned in. Again, Cardinals baseball going to be back at it tomorrow afternoon here on KMOX. Andre Palante against Brian Bayo. That is the pitching matchup. 1:15 tomorrow, 12:20 for pregame coverage. Thanks for being tuned in. We'll talk to you tomorrow for more Cardinals baseball right here on KMOX.
When you own a business, there's no shortage of things you have to